Here we go. Get ready for another exciting episode. Living well together.
Big life in a small town.
I've got the same voice, oddly enough. Although I think it's better.
It is better.
Somehow, magically.
Actually, it's pretty funny. It's kind of like a giveaway, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, it is. But that's okay.
Yeah.
And so this will be a fun one.
Yeah.
For our friends at home.
For our friends at home. Yeah.
It'll be fun for us.
Yeah. I think, when I think about different topics throughout the day, I always am like, it's something that's come to mind for some reason. And that's I kind of then expound on it, or it's something that's been kind of brewing in my mind for a while. Because we do see a lot of people that compare and they do feel like they're behind.
So the topic of the day is comparing yourself to others?
The topic of the day is really about like our seasons of life, and that we're all at different seasons. Even if we're all in the same decade, we can still be in a different season.
Is one season better than the other?
No, not at all.
When you say seasons, you're talking about spring, summer, winter, fall.
Okay, let me back it up. Let's talk
fall,
about decades then. Because what I did was I was thinking about the different decades. Like honey falls in the 0 to 10-year-old range.
Okay.
And for that age, it's all about imprinting. Like everything that she sees, hears, touches, tastes is imprinted into her.
Okay.
And it's amazing how being around her, you're very aware, because you'll hear her say something from a couple of weeks ago that you didn't even know that she was in the room when it was said.
Yes.
And so there she is, just like a sponge, and she's just taking all of this in, and it becomes the foundation for her life and the safety that she feels with Grace and Graham. And just how, like, so kids don't compare themselves at that age, like 0 to 10, maybe after 5, are they comparing? Or do you think even at Honey's age, at 3, that she's looking at a young friend?
Oh, for sure. Honey notices
Yeah.
all kinds of things.
But do you think she compares or just notices? Because to me, that's the imprint part.
Well, psychology experts will tell you that by the age of probably 7, that your mindset is fairly well established. Your perspective and the way you react to the world. By the age of 7, your brain is mature enough to say, kind of, here's who I am.
Yeah.
Or here's who I will be.
Right. At 7. Isn't that amazing?
And that depends on, which research you read, but somewhere between 5, 7, maybe 10 years of age, you're set. Like the die is cast.
Right.
And your perspective in reality is going to be based on the things that you've experienced up through those early formative years. And that's how you're going to deal with the world around you in so many ways.
Yeah, for every stage that happens then after that, right?
Well, perspective is going to maybe be modified over the course of time, but you're kind of hardwired. Your brain has kind of experienced everything it's going to and respond to, whether it's trauma, whether it's joy, whether it's acquisition, whether it is lack. You're already kind of formulating a response to the world by those young ages, single digits.
Right. It's something that we notice in body code too, that there's a lot of trapped traumas and emotions from early childhood years.
Yes.
And those are things that should be dealt with if once you become aware of it, because having that locked in there as a negative energy can also be shaping.
That's all things. That's sight, that's sound, that's taste, touch, and smell. It is part of what builds this. It's like creating your own AI. That AI is only going to be as good as the input.
Yeah.
And I think the phrase in computer terms is garbage in, garbage out. So what you respond to is going to create that response for years to come. Yeah. Unless it's reprogrammed.
Right. Yeah.
And that's where the body code can be helpful.
Body code can be helpful.
Or reprogramming.
And nervous system regulation and doing, different types of wellness-oriented things.
Well, but that means if you're spending too much screen time,
Yeah.
that means the music you listen to, or that
Definitely.
and you'll hear your kids spit back things that you didn't know they heard, like you mentioned.
that you said.
But it might be, you may hear your kid drop like some words that you don't want your kid to
Yes.
drop. And then the question is, where'd she learn that?
Has Honey ever sworn?
Yeah. But if you're listening to a Rogan podcast in the car and that's what gets absorbed, then that's what they spit out.
For sure. Yeah.
And for good or for bad,
Right.
for better or for worse. So the question is not, does it happen? The question is it being monitored and managed? Now, I don't want to say controlled.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's.
But monitored and managed is a good way to put that.
Sure.
Because from 0 to 7, they need guidance. They are just, they're not feral. They would be feral.
I've seen some feral kids. I might have been a feral kid at one point. Yeah. And then as you mature, you get to kind of start deciding, and then you can differentiate between here's the behavior that I know is acceptable and here's the behavior that I know isn't, or here's the response that is going to get me the desired outcome.
Right.
Versus the response that's going to get me on the road to prison.
Yeah.
Prison is full of people. I'm sure of this. Prisons are full of people who had a kind of a start that maybe they had no control over. Yeah. But at the end of the day, they've made choices along the way based on that input. And those choices are going to land you somewhere.
Right.
They're going to land you in a successful, loving marriage, or they're going to land you in something otherwise. They're going to land you in a place where you're not only employable, but you're exemplary as an employee or not.
It is interesting, though, and something that Graham brings up often is about nature versus nurture.
Yes.
And that is very interesting, too, because families, even if the environment seems the same for each one, it is the child's reality and perception that forms it.
Yes.
So sometimes it's nature, sometimes it's nurture, and we try to, parenting is one of I think it is the hardest job on the planet, because you're trying to do your very best, and it doesn't always work out that way.
Sometimes we think or say or do things that kind of wreck them.
Yeah. I wouldn't say wreck, but maybe.
Is there water in that?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I wouldn't say wreck, but you learn from each experience parenting, right?
It's a tough call.
Don't you feel like you change your the way you might talk to a child if you know that the way you've spoken to them isn't working for them?
You would hope.
Yeah.
I mean, as a a human who's evolved into a decent person, you
exactly. Yeah.
Want to curb some habits.
Yes, and find the right way. And, one of the reasons why we homeschooled is because we saw how differently each of the girls learned. Their personalities are completely different. I'm sure everybody sees this in their families. You and Tim and me and my brother and sister, very, very different. So age 10 through 20 is identity. So during that time, it's all the feelings, all the figuring out, all the risk taking and boundary bumping.
Next thing you know, there's beers missing from the fridge.
Then there's brain development that's happening because the hormones start kicking in during that time. Decision making is tested, but it's also critical. It's all part of the process. But I do see where there's a lot of, the peer pressure.
Peer influence can be less than desirable.
And the ones that are the followers and the leaders too. It's just weird to watch all of it unfold. It's very fascinating. It is like, I don't know, like you're looking into a window into a different world.
But they're going to push boundaries.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And so the rule is if they don't have boundaries, they will push until they find them. Mm-hmm. I think teenage people crave boundaries. I think they look for guidance. They want guidance.
Yeah, even though they say they don't.
Well, if they're not getting it, then anything goes until it doesn't. Mm-hmm. And again, that's where I think prisons are full of people who didn't have the right boundaries or the right set of guidelines.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a tough call because you want to give them latitude. You want to give them, space to figure out who they are, and here's what's dangerous and here's what isn't.
And assuming that they're going to make the right decision.
And so many people are risk averse.
Yeah.
Like they call them helicopter parents, right? Like they don't want, Timmy, don't run. Wait a minute, don't run. Come on. Timmy needs to learn what falling down feels like. If you don't skin your knees up, you're just going to think the world never skins you.
Right.
So there's guidelines and there's guardrails, but there's also got to be some latitude to let them experience life and figure it out.
Yes, absolutely. And whether it's children that are 10 and 20 or adult children that are 30 to 40,
right?
As parents of that age group, it's hard for us too. Well, because they're still your children, and you want to help.
You want to offer some guidance.
You want to offer guidance, and it's like it's their welcome. Life. No, because they have to figure it out on their own too, just like we did.
Yes.
But it is hard, and it's probably the most trickiest shift in parenthood for me was when the girls are married. Yeah, it's much harder. 20 to 30 is exploration. So this is kind of a fun one. It can be a messy decade. It is probably supposed to be a little bit messy because I really do feel like they're in charge of their lives.
Yes.
They've probably found a little bit of a groove. Hopefully they have. At least their purpose and passion is starting to evolve.
And they're frequently outsid of your guidance now.
Absolutely.
So this is where you hope that your foundational things have established patterns that are beneficial to their life. Mm-hmm. And even then, when you do your best job, sometimes the patterns that you think you've established, they're going to test them.
Right. Yeah.
And sometimes, again, it's hard to watch them figure it out, but they're out of the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we've done our jobs, we're the only animals on the planet that take 20 years to raise our young. If you're a baby giraffe, you don't have 20 years to figure it out. When a baby giraffe drops onto the Serengeti plain, you don't have years to learn how to walk. Mm-hmm. I mean, it takes us a year to learn how to walk.
Yeah. Where are you going with that?
Well, I'm just saying we're the only animals on the planet that take as long as we take. We're a special part of creation.
Yes. Well, we are a special part of creation.
No doubt about it. But yeah, we got to lay some foundational things that no other animals on the planet got to do. Mm-hmm.
So age 30 to 40 is building.
Okay. What's that mean?
That is where you've probably identified your role in the world.
Okay.
And that would include the responsibilities, the family, if you started a business, taxes, maintaining a home. The stress load sometimes raises during this time.
I think the stress load stays the same. I do. Well,
do you think we just have a harder time dealing with it?
It's just a different set of stressors.
Different stress, yeah, that's true.
I mean, the difference between learning how to ride a bicycle, which can be kind of stressful when you're 5, shouldn't be the same stress you're tolerating at 30.
Yeah.
Right? That's why they make the seats in kindergarten so small. Like, you shouldn't fit in them when you're 30. You should have learned a few things along the way.
Right.
And so the stress load changes, and there's usually not as much parental guidance or guidance of any kind.
You're figuring it out.
So the load is probably like the stakes are higher.
Right.
The load's not different, but the stakes are higher.
And there starts to become a physical impact. Gravity starts doing its thing. You don't feel the same as you did in your 20s. It's a little maybe, I hear our kids saying how, even just having one beer, how that can affect how you feel the next day.
Yeah.
And
you're not as durable.
Right. You're not as durable. So you just start feeling it in your body a little bit more.
The runway's getting a little shorter too.
And then age 40 to 50 is a reassessment.
Okay.
So this is a powerful moment. It's where you might start asking, is this it? Like, is this everything that life has to offer?
At what age do you think people start attempting to find their purpose?
I think everybody's completely different. I think there's some kids, like I feel like Noble will be an entrepreneur, and we've known that about him since he was 5. When I saw him on the floor counting money, on, just when I was watching him.
Yes.
But then I think there's other people, it takes a longer time. They need to explore a little bit more.
Yes.
They need to experience new and different things and then find what works for them. I think about it in terms of like letting your kids play different sports when they're 0 to 10.
Trying to figure out where they fit.
Let them try all the things. Sure. See what they love. As parents, finding what their passion is, finding what lights them up, gets them excited. It's part of our job, I think. And then guiding them into that and delving deeper with them.
Okay.
And for our girls, they took the things that they loved way back then and have turned those things into the way that they earn income and run their households and lives. It's pretty cool.
I won't disagree.
Yeah.
But I want to think too, though, that part of what we did in the raising them process was to help them find their purpose. Like God's got a purpose for everybody. The question is not, does he have it? The question is, are we seeking it?
So I think it's uncovering the purpose.
Yes. It's got to be revealed.
Yes.
But spiritual guidance should start early, way early.
Yes.
And so we do lay a foundation for that. And sometimes you can see the evidence, and sometimes the evidence is not forthcoming right away.
Right. Yeah.
But if there's no spiritual guidance, and if there's no guardrail spiritually, then discovering your purpose as a person on the planet, I think, is going to be harder at 40 or 50. And I think that's where a lot of grown-ups pump the brakes and they say, is this the right career for me? Is this the right, am I raising my children? Is my family what I think it should or would be had I made different choices? And so, I think in that 40 to 50 year time frame, everybody's kind of like, okay, if I had this to do again, or looking forward, what would I be able to assess and do differently in the future?
Yes, because it's never too late.
100%
never
true.
too late. So if you're noticing a pattern that you're not pleased with, then changing the pattern, I think, no matter what the age is.
Well, the rules are simple, and the rules apply to everybody. If we keep doing what we've always done, we'll keep getting more of what we've always gotten. And so that's where, in that, again, 40 to 50 time frame, people are thinking, gosh, I wonder what I'm going to be when I grow up.
Yeah.
Well, grow up a little and figure it out.
So there can be those midlife shifts, the physical and the mental shifts. And people can either ignore it and keep on going and not do that reassessment, say, am I on the right path for what God has planned for me? Or they just start making those changes, once they have that awareness. So 50 to 60.
What about it?
Power. Power. It is where, for a lot of people, that's where they become more confident. There's more clarity. And because of the additional clarity, there is more confidence in the choices that they're making, the way they're living out their lives, deciding if they want to go back to school, and doing things in a different way.
I think that we also start to realize that our mortality is in play.
It is, yeah.
20s and 30s, you still think you're bulletproof. You don't even know. And then 50, suddenly, your knees are a little creakier getting off the floor, or your strength pattern is different when you're exercising at the gym.
Yeah.
And so you start to, I think, realize that there's this thing called the end.
Mortality.
Mortality is like, oh, by the way, you're not going to live forever. And then you look at reflecting and stacking up choices, and that's where we do kind of compare maybe ourselves to other people. Yeah. Gosh, I've been on the planet the same length of time as that person, and look where they are, and look where I am, and why am I not where they are?
But like what Graham was saying, it comes back to the choices that we make early on.
Well, 100%.
Yeah. And it's really important, though, during that time frame to remember this isn't a decline. It isn't a decline.
Okay.
At this time, it's more of a reinforcement. So reinforcing the things that are working and reevaluating the things that aren't working.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
So 60 plus, legacy and presence. Legacy and presence. So That's realizing, like what you did this weekend, going to the school and sharing your wisdom. It's keeping things simpler. Like I do.
Way simpler.
I feel like that everything that we do is like, how can we simplify this? Streamline our lives.
Well, you start to also realize that what used to feel important at the time isn't as important as it used to be.
Hardly it.
Whether it's having the right house or driving the right car or meeting the right people or going to the right parties or having the right outcomes. You kind of step back and say, okay, gosh, I was grinding for this from 20 to 50. It's a grind. And again, you realize what a mortgage is. You realize what taxes are. You realize how satisfied you may or may not be in your career choice. And then in your 60s, it's like, okay, we can start paring some of this down.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we talked about the estate sale a few episodes ago.
Right. Yes, exactly.
And you know what? You're not taking any of that crap with you.
Yeah.
So what's really important becomes much more available at that stage of the game. And what do you want to leave behind as a legacy? Not your stuff.
Right.
You know, the books you've read are probably more important than leaving behind the right sofa.
Yeah.
Right. Like if you're going to leave something for the people behind you, let people find the things that help shaped. And then you can say with certainty, here's what was valuable and here's what was less valuable.
Yeah.
Over the course of a lifetime. But yeah, if I had to, if I could go backwards and change a few things, I'm sure everybody would change a few things.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I don't ever want to get to the end of it and think, oh gosh, I just totally goofed that up.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't. I don't think that would be a thing. But it doesn't have to be like comparing. Everybody is at their own, they're pacing themselves, right? What season do you think that people resist the most?
Oh, the resistance will change in every decade, I would think. The resistance is different. Like I said, as time's gone by, it's obvious that the bodies that we're living in aren't meant to live forever.
Yeah.
It's obvious that the thoughts or the reality that we live with currently should be different than it was when you were 20.
Right. Yeah.
Just based on experience and exposure and response to things over time. But yeah, when you recognize your runway is getting shorter, not longer, you want to spend more time with your people. People matter way more than any things that you've acquired along the way. Yeah. The relationships that you wish were maybe different, you can start shaping them as differently as possible, given the givens.
Like creating deeper connections.
Whether it's with the family that you have or the people that you work with or the people that you church with or whatever. You should be a different person as time goes by. Yeah. And that wisdom should be kind of obvious on some level. You shouldn't have to state it. It should be obvious.
Right. That makes sense. So there's 70 plus is integration and presence. So this is the harvest. This is the deep presence, perspective, and peace, kind of like less doing, more being.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
100%.
Yeah. It embodies this decade would embody, like, I understand what matters.
You would hope.
Getting to that place. Yeah. So yeah. And there's a song, it's Five for Fighting, my favorite group, and it's 100 years. And whenever I hear it, it always, our lives are really such a blip. And it does make you think, oh, here I am at this decade and here I am at this decade. And I don't want it to sound heavy. Yeah. I just want to bring awareness to you're not behind. Anything's changeable, fixable. You can pivot at any time in your life.
That's just it. The life you have right now is perfect for every choice you've made up until now. Yeah. And if you want a different outcome, you got to make different choices. Yeah. And that as long as there's breath going in and breath going out, different choices are an option.
Right. So living with complete intention. Yes. And just not waiting for permission from anybody except for God at any age or any stage.
Well, and that's where the marbles come in kind of handy.
Yes.
Because they force us to kind of take an accounting of just little short gaps of time.
1 week at a time rather than decades at a time.
Yep. Yeah. And you can reflect on it and say, here's what was wonderful about it. Here's what I want to do in the next marble.
And for those of you guys that don't know the marble story, Terry has a jar of marbles that we got for him 10 years ago now.
It's more than that because Hawk started helping me move marbles. So it's probably 14 years ago.
14 years ago. And we calculated how many weeks of his life he had left until he's 75.
The average, I got the marbles based on the fact that the average American male makes it to 75, 76, give or take. So I just subtracted, I think it was 52 at the time. So it's been a minute.
Yeah.
And so we did the math. There's 52 weeks in a year.
Right.
And you multiply 52 times the difference between that and 76, right? So I think it came down to like 12 or 1,300. And you just ordered, it was 1,200 marbles. Because I think the number was actually 1,196.
Okay.
When we did the math.
Yep.
So I got 1,200 marbles and keep them in a big glass vase. And then every Saturday we move one out of the big jar. And Hawk kind of scolded me. He's like, because I just threw them away for the first little bit. And he said, "Paps, those are good marbles. Why are you throwing them away?" And so we just got a separate container. But it's a visual representation of time ticking or an hour, like an hourglass sort of.
Yeah.
And I plan on whistling right by 75.
Of course you do.
But I can see the marbles dwindling from the big jug into the other jug. And so it forces you to take an accounting of how did I spend that marble?
Yeah.
So and we do it every Saturday.
Exactly.
For the longest time, the boys would help me move them and we would recount the week, or you and I would move it and we'd have coffee on a Saturday and talk about
Honey's
what's
moved
coming.
it.
Honey's starting to move some now.
Yep.
The boys actually for my birthday got me another 52 marbles one year. It's like, okay, let's buy Paps an extra year on the planet. I wish that's how it worked. I just buy a lot of marbles. But no, it's just a visual representation of accountability for the time and the functions.
Yep, exactly. Cool. So we hope that you
make your marbles count.
Make your marbles count. Use them wisely.
Yeah. Why don't we let people comment marble?
Oh, that's a great idea.
So everybody who comments the word marble in this week's episode goes into a drawing for some kind of fabulous something. I don't know what.
Yeah. Well, we have a book called The Living Will Code, and it's kind of based around the marble story. Yeah. But we'll probably do another $50 gift card from Amazon, and you can buy it with that.
You can buy marbles. Lose your marbles. All right. Now what do we want to do?
Now we want them to like, subscribe, share, and follow.
And we will catch up with you next week.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
See you.